Hey guys, welcome to Simply Do It, the channel that brings you all about dough and more. Today I'd like to share with you an easy berry shortbread recipe. You have probably tried this shortbread. I'll show you how to bake it. Add a pinch of salt to a soft butter and mix it with the mixer till smooth. I will leave the exact amount of ingredients in the description box under the video. I am editing this video out in the garden, so on top of the sounds of birds, you might also hear some outside noise like cars passing by and snoring of dogs. Then comes sugar. I'm using only 100 grams of sugar because I have a sweet berry jam. Mix the sugar with butter until well incorporated, and then add the vanilla extract. Next is the egg. Add the egg and continue beating. For the purposes of the best shortbread, all ingredients must be room temperature. You know your batter is ready when it's white, fluffy and light, just like you see it on the video. And now we can go ahead and use our flour. There is 310 grams of all-purpose flour in this recipe. Because the flour behaves itself differently each time, I add it gradually so as to be able to control the density of my dough, so to speak. To it, I add a tablespoon of baking powder. The good thing with this dough is that we don't need to knead it. We only need to bring it together. You may find the dough a bit too dry in the beginning, but do not be taken aback and do not add liquid to it. If you find it too sticky, do not stuff it with the flour also. This recipe is tested time and time again and it works. The dough is going to be somewhat porous, if I said it correctly, light and does not stick to your hands. I remind you, we don't need this dough, we just bring it together. Cut the dough into two parts and cool half an hour. You can actually go ahead and start working with it, but for best results, cool it for half an hour. Butter will harden a bit, and then it will be easier to work with this dough. You don't need to freeze it, the refrigerator will do. After half an hour, roll the dough into 3 5mm sheets. I find it easier to roll it in a parchment paper. Then I'm not going to be using any flour to dust my dough, and the dough does not stick on the paper. I'm going to be baking a 12 to 24 centimeter shortbread just because I'm comfortable with that amount and size. It will have 4 layers, including the crumb top. Give it frequent perks with a fork and bake it 13 to 15 minutes at preheated to 200°C oven. We are not going to be baking the cake base till it's golden brown. Slightly browning of sides is what we aim for. Cut the base into the sizes you need and gently transfer it to the side. And the extras go for crumb topping. You could crush it in a mixer. I'm just gonna go ahead and crumble it in a zip bag. As you can see, my cake base broke. As a matter of fact, all my cake bases broke because I was not careful enough when handling them. But that's not a big deal. No one will notice it in a final destination. In a dark place. You know what I mean? I'm talking about stomach, of course. I am using a blueberry jam which turned out quite sweet. For this recipe, ideal jams are the sour berry jams because they really balance the butter pastry and gives it a nice sharpness. Now, I don't know if you can hear the sewing machine. The neighbor just decided to cut his trees. I have applied jam on all my layers, topped my shortbread with crumbles, and I'm pretty much done. We need to give this masterpiece 5-6 hours of rest to allow the cake base to somewhat absorb the jam, which will then make it easier to cut the cake. But we couldn't wait that long and, despite the mess, decided to go ahead, and you know what? It's delicious. The cake base itself is not too sweet because we don't have a big amount of sugar in it, but it will nevertheless satisfy your sweet tooth. So that's the berry shortbread recipe from me, guys. I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, do support me with your likes and comments. And if you're new here, subscribe to my channel for more recipes like this, and let's simply do it together. I thank you for watching and see you in my next videos. Bye for now.